show that a quorum of the committee members is present, that this meeting is duly called, and that the notice of the meeting was posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Muy bien. Citizens' comments, we have Mr. Ceballos from the TERS downtown. Who's gonna give us a little update?
Good afternoon. Would you like me to go now?
And maybe we can go through the item, and as soon as we get to the downtown, yes.
Sure.
If you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Approval of the minutes, do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Garay,
Second.
second by Mr. Gonzalez. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Presentations items, Economic Development Department's update report. This is it.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, thank you for joining us at this monthly meeting. We just wanted to give you a very brief report on the activities, programs, projects that the department has been putting together, involved, and launched. So some of the ongoing projects, and I think the first item aligns with the request of the committee members at the last two meetings on the recommendation on reviewing and, if necessary, developing a strategic plan. We have engaged with a consulting firm that works with other cities our size as well. And we're gonna be entering into an exercise possibly starting December all the way through March to put together a work plan for economic development, and with that also take that information and feedback to review our incentive guidelines. Some of the programs and guidelines that we're looking at considering are the Chapter 380 guidelines as requested by this committee in an effort to diversify our economy and the projects that we attract. Although the Eat Street incentive program, it's not gonna be necessarily part of this exercise. That is one of the programs that our department is looking into, bringing back to our department because it is currently under a different department. And also the neighborhood empowerment zone. I know this committee was very active last year in reviewing the guidelines. Those areas that are currently that were adopted in the maps will be soon to expire, so we will be working with the respective department to review the maps, the zones, and any possible revisions that may be needed based on the type of industries and improvements that we would like to attract through this program. Another program that our department has been engaged in, and to support the Downtown TERS Downtown Murals program. Our department is the liaison and the department that is assisting with part of the administration of the program and the following up with the criteria and the applications and the program itself. This program is fully funded by the Downtown TERS, and I know we have the president of the chairman of the board for the Downtown TERS who will give us a brief update as well on their own projects after this presentation. Another initiative and project that the Economic Development Department has started, and this started last month. We are collaborating with other departments and city manager's office and the mayor on the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative. We submitted they have a program that assists cities on different topics, and it's a very interactive and innovative program. We submitted an application for a project that will help assess and evaluate our tools, processes, challenges, opportunities on the permitting and developing process for the city of Laredo. The goal is to go through this exercise with all the stakeholders and follow this program through this particular initiative in an effort to improve and have a better streamlined business development process, getting all of the departments involved. Yes, Julian?
I have a question. So
it seems like the city's still connected with Bloomberg, which is amazing. But there was a Bloomberg initiative years ago now, probably 8 years ago, that was a big push on providing open data and transparency. And there was supposed to be a website generated. And there was one where you could go on there and collect all type of data, like crime data on the city. Everything would be public, including like the award of contracts to contractors and consultants and everything, and just basically provide all that data. And it used to exist, but the city took it down. Do you know what happened and why? It's because I do know that the city actually passed an ordinance regarding it, and it was through the same program.
You know, Julian, I wouldn't know, but we'll be more than glad to do some research and see, and bring back an update on this
Do
particular.
you
item.
recall the administration, who was the mayor, who was the council people?
It was during Salinas' term, Mayor Salinas.
Raul Salinas?
And I think it was put in play in 2016, I think is when they passed the ordinance. And then I want to say the website was created and it was functioning, but then the city took it down.
We can look into it and provide an update to the committee, as to, this particular project and program and, because I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Do you recall when they put it down, Julian? Was it when they hacked the city?
When they what, I'm sorry?
When they hacked the city?
It may have been around that time. That's you're actually jogging my memory. So it may have been related to that, I'm not sure if this was directly related, but from my knowledge, the last that I heard is they took it down to make some corrections on it, and they never put it back up, which is contradictory because I know the city has an ordinance that states that it will exist, and so if it hasn't been put back up, I guess that's my question. Why hasn't it been put back up?
We will look into it and coordinate with the respective departments as to what's the status and on this particular tool.
Thanks, Julian.
Some other projects and developing projects as well. And we cannot share a lot of information on the names of the companies because of, there's this privacy component to it, but just to let the committee know, there are several projects that we're trying to solidify and attract and land. One of them, it's a sports entertainment project. Hopefully by December 2024, we can have more information that we can present to you and council, as well as a restaurant development that consists of 3 different brands, like the type of developments that we have seen lately in the north. There's also, we've been working with a national developer that wants to have a presence in Laredo, open up an office here and enter the Laredo market, and they're very heavy on warehouse, entertainment, and mixed-use developments in other cities. There's also another project that involves commercial and hospitality development. Hopefully by January of next year, we can see a more solid development plan, and we can share that with the committee as well. And there's also, we've been working with a steel manufacturing project that already has a presence in Laredo, but it's looking at expanding and developing a more sophisticated facility. Other initiatives and programs and projects that we've been working on, as you all know, and some of you are part of this subcommittees, the 2025 bond referendum. There's one particular project that our department is assisting with in conjunction with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, which is the convention center. Yes.
Is this council driven or management driven?
This is management driven and council driven in the sense that they appointed community leaders and stakeholders to be part of this subcommittee. So pretty much these subcommittees have been listening from the different departments and projects that are possibly gonna be presented to be included in the bond referendum.
But like the last,
So-
it's gonna be February 14th.
is who is actually pushing for these projects to be approved? Right.
City managers presented a list of projects, and those are the projects that were, considered to be part of this exercise. Again, the subcommittees, they serve as advisory members to pretty much evaluate the projects that are being presented by every department and see which projects are gonna be, included in the bond referendum once the committee presents the recommendations to council.
Has that committee voted yet?
No, right now, every subcommittee is going through the exercise of learning about every project.
So you're saying the last one will be February 14th?
That's like when they're gonna say this is gonna go in and what's gonna be voted in May. I think it's in May, when people.
So council will hear from, will hear the recommendations of the committee, and that's when they will be voted. Moving on, we have also been working on the industrial TERS that was approved and designated a couple of years ago, which is the TERS number 3. We're working with the developer on updating their project plan and finance plan and making some negotiations as to the opportunity to have within the finance plan a line item for incentives as well to be part and withdrawn from the TIF. Same with the transportation reinvestment zones, working in collaboration with different departments and the RMA on the possibility of implementing and conducting a second study for the first TRC in Laredo.
North Road.
And I think I skipped one.
Can
you go back? The South Laredo is the one that will that is more advanced because a study has already been conducted. There is a possibility, and we're working on also working on developing one for North Laredo.
Is that open to the public, that study?
It will be available to the public when it's finished. The North Laredo study
the
hasn't
South.
been conducted.
The
Yes.
south still being worked on, or it's already finished?
That's fine. That one is finished.
The study has been finished, and it was done in
A
2018.
couple of years ago.
So right now, the city's re-engaging in conversations with the RMA to redefine, the numbers that were used back then, to move forward with the implementation of it.
Yeah, they wanted an update.
Yeah, and of course, there are processes that will be in place. They will need to be taken to council. They will make the decision as to what level of commitment the city will be considering for this project.
They're transportation based, Mr. Chairman, or they're business based, or it's a whole study altogether?
The study is only for transportation
Transportation,
projects,
okay.
strictly for transportation projects as per state law. Collaboration with MPO, yes?
Julia?
What is the North Laredo Entertainment District?
That is pretty much the area of Jackman and Loop 20.
When was that entertainment district ratified?
Well, I'm just calling
Are
it
you
an
guys just calling it that?
I'm just calling it an entertainment district for the sake of conversation and to identify the area. It's not an official term.
But we have the Union Trade,
Yeah, it's only
The arena.
the arena, Unitree, Tammy U, and all the restaurants. And I don't know if that answers your question. It's not a legal or
The
official
soccer
term. I'm
energy
just
ones.
calling it an entertainment
the
district
soccer.
for the sake of presentation purposes.
Okay.
On that note, we've started some conversations with the MPO. As you know, they assist in studies that are heavily involved with connectivity, transportation, walkability, and that's one of the possible projects that we would like to present to them if they can fund a project to evaluate the area in the event that future projects move forward in the area. Ongoing programs through the Economic Development Department. As you all know, the boil water notice, back in October, the department was very quick in putting together an emergency, small business, financial assistance program, offering, grants to small businesses that, or continue to be affected by the recovering of the COVID pandemic, and that the boil water notice added an additional burden to their operations. We received a total of 352 applications. Not all the funds have been fully awarded, but we hope that we can come back with a full report at the next meeting.
How many have, right now, estimate half? What are you, like 50% of reviews, or?
That's a good question. Do we know how? We haven't really processed the applications, right, Arnold?
No, not yet. They go through Lift Fund, they go through the screening process. We get a weekly update of how many businesses have applied, how many started but didn't finish. And once they finalize all those, we get a determination of where we are with funding. If there's still funding available, we reassess and see if we need to extend or not.
Very good.
But hopefully we can give you a more detailed report as soon as the program closes.
For sure.
And the other program as well, through ARPA funding, the Small Business 0% Loan Program, which pretty much through the program, it buys down the interest. That one in particular offers loans for up to $50,000. The principal, the business owners still pay back the principal, but the program absorbs the interest. On that one, they have received a total of 78 applications. That amounts for a total of $2.2 million in loans, and the total interest that has been accrued through this fund is at $749,000.
So the city eats the 749, or the program, the grant eats the 749?
The city buys down the program.
So you're a partner, basically. You're helping the community with those programs.
Oh yes, absolutely, and the great thing about this particular program is that small businesses have access to a bigger amount for their capital investments or their projects, as opposed to the grant that has a cap.
Very good.
Is this a fixed interest rate? Is it? So it started back 2 years ago when you got that fixed interest rate?
Well, actually, yes, because this is the second time that we launched this program. And every time the city allocates funds for this program, Lift Fund commits to a fixed rate of 0% that we can buy, and they provide the principal. I mean, they get it back, right? The other program that it's currently and was recently launched last week, it's the Outdoor Spaces Improvement Grant Program. This program offers up to 75% reimbursement of the total project costs for small businesses on improvements that are related to outdoor spaces, patios, storefronts, facades, allowing small businesses a wide variety of approved expenses.
Julian?
So on the Outdoor Space Improvement Grant Program, would this play with basically the parklet? Would something like a parklet qualify under this?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Another program that is ongoing, it's the Workforce Development Program in partnership with our great partners at Laredo College. Just a very quick update. This is the third program that the department launches with Laredo College. This is the one for this year. It was in 2 phases. It will be in 2 phases. Phase 1, we were able to partner and allow and provide 18 different programs for a total of 511 participants. The one that it's ongoing, it started in September, and the numbers all the way to August of next year. It's a total of 19 programs. We anticipate 629 participants by the end of this phase 2 program. And also in an effort to continue evaluating the needs of the community, we're very excited to announce that we were also able to put together a hospitality certificate program, and please excuse the typo there. But we're very excited because Laredo College, you know, the moment we called them and told them, you know, we feel that there's a big need in this particular industry, they're always very prompt at, you know, partnering with us, putting together a solid program. Right now, they're in the process of recruiting the instructors. We're hoping that we can launch the program in 2025, in January. As you know, there has been a lot of, you know, more growth in the restaurant and hospitality industry, not to mention, you know, hotels. So we think that this is gonna be a successful program for the community, and hopefully it will also help us attract this type of industries to the city. Some other, you know, very brief updates on business assistance, on permitting processes. As you know, there's now a new small division that will be assisting businesses throughout the process. We've been able to assist and guide 6 projects through the business development division. We've been involved on the food truck attraction in that particular niche with the Vietnam Veterans Plaza, first public, I guess, food truck area. The department was able to reach out to almost 30 food truck business owners. The space is very limited in the area, but you know, just being that, conducting that outreach, I think it's also good that the business community knows that there's someone that can guide them through the process.
Do they have an association, the food truck?
They don't.
They don't.
I don't think there's an official association other than, you know, groups that are heavily involved in social media.
What Monterrey does with their association is they're the one that schedule the trucks to move to
Yeah,
the facilities,
calendar.
like for example, Samex or whatever. No, because we want these food trucks this week. And so they'll put one Monday, one Tuesday. And so they're the ones moving them. Also, they'll lease the properties. And so they'll move around food trucks and stuff like that.
It's a pretty interesting
Yes, concept.
model, yes. Maybe that's something that we can somehow initiate if they are interested in.
Getting
Basically-
organized.
You're creating
It's like a
traffic for different
management
areas.
association.
And it's very much needed, I think, because when there's just one centralized, you know, person or group that can assist and
And when you have events like those
Right.
runs, because you can always call the association, hey, we need 3 food trucks, and they'll send you 3 food trucks. Things like that, something, a contact to,
we'll look into the model that Monterrey has and maybe we can recommend something similar because it's also beneficial in our own.
There's
day-to-day
actually a
work.
website, a web page, but I'm not sure if it's still active. So maybe we can check if it's still active and a Laredo web page for that.
And we're also in the process of developing a guide and a business guide, checklist, you know, step by step, I guess, guidelines on how to open or improve and renovate businesses, the departments that are involved and whatnot. And we will be conducting a series of workshops in collaboration and partnership with the Laredo Chamber of Commerce. And I think this will be the last the last slide. As far as grants, in front of you, you have a list of the recently submitted grants. These are not all the grants that the department has been involved in. And Jaime, I will let you put the committee up to speed on which ones were awarded. I know the Santa Fe has been awarded and go ahead.
So good afternoon, Jaime Ortiz. We do have the recreational trail grant for Santa Fe, which was awarded. Currently, they are reviewing the environmentals that were done. They informed us back in June that might take up to a year for Texas Parks and Wildlife to review all the documentation. So it might be up to maybe June, July of next year that we kind of start moving forward in that specific project. Raise grant for River Road this year. So we submitted 2014. The project cleared all the levels. It was deemed a high merit project, but unfortunately was not selected for funding. So because it was a high merit project, it will automatically be transferred to next year's round of applicants. They do have specific funds that will reserve for highly merit grants or applications. So we have actually 2 more shots for the River Road. One for the funding that was allocated for last year's applications, and then for this 2025 coming up year.
This is for the congestion of the trucks at Pines Road?
Yes, it's
Pines Road?
I don't know, on Mines Road, it's kind of through the back of Mines Road, kind of where La Bota's at. It'll
You know what the
come around.
you know what the number is of the congested road of Mines Road in Texas?
It's a number.
It jumped from one year to the next, you know
No.
what number? Went from number 12 to number 2.
Oh, wow.
And this is all Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, I mean, all the big cities, Austin and Laredo.
So in our application, we actually used information from TxDOT that shows why we need this road and the high need of it for the area. The next one, the Border Zone Fire Department, we submitted earlier this year. A couple of weeks ago, we were informed that the city was awarded this grant. It's just to help the fire department purchase emergency equipment. And I know they're building several new fire stations, so that equipment's gonna serve to fill those new stations. The Strength and Mobility grant, is that the SMART grant? Yes. We submitted an application for SMART technology along Mines Road. They're still in review of those applications, so we won't know more or less until early in 2025.
What type of
It's a
technology?
smart technology, just synchronization technology.
Is
just
it
to-
synchronization
yes.
on 9 of the main, I think it's 9?
Or-
Yes, nine intersections along Mines Road.
Intersections along Mines Road, and it
Be-
includes fiber optic, I think.
And then
It's
because
to add
cameras.
sensors too.
like right now is by radio frequency.
Yes.
which is-
And
we
also
think
the
it's
control
antiquated.
center, equipment and technology that is needed at the control center of the traffic department, because, it's multifaceted, right? Even if you have the infrastructure on the streets, you also need the
Eat this.
How
the
big is that
equipment.
grant for the Mines Road?
I don't recall. I want to say it's about 2 million. I don't recall, to be honest. But we did meet several times with traffic department. They did provide us information. We sat down with a company that does this types of installations. We took information from their presentations. We think it's a pretty good competitive application.
In the bond meeting, we had traffic and we asked for what they needed, it was a 2.8 something.
Yes.
Like that,
I believe this
Probably
one is
same
a
thing.
2.5.
Yes. And we also recently submitted another Texas Parks and Wildlife application for Las Lomas Park. That's in South Laredo. Currently, there's nothing there on that land. It's just grass. So it's gonna have, I think, about 4 soccer fields, parking lot, restroom, trails. We don't have the full design yet, but the preliminary design, it's about 4 soccer fields, parking lot, and restrooms and trails. That would just be phase 1. Phase 2 would actually connect to other parks and more residential areas in the zone.
So it's connectivity.
Yes, yes. For upcoming grants, we are planning on applying for bridge investment grant, mainly for World Trade Bridge, the expansion. I have met with Bridge Department. They have given me a lot of information, which the application for that, it's mid-February, so we should have that ready by early January, more or less, ready to submit. Community Change Grant, that one, it was led by Health Department. Our department also helped submit that application. They're building a resiliency center along with trails. They're buying EV equipment, EV charging stations. It's a really, really big project. I think the minimum amount that they could have applied was 20 million. So they're going all out with that resiliency hub center. And
Thank you.
and along the year, from emails that we received from the federal government, from our congressman, I have forwarded maybe more than 20 grants to other departments around the city where they send us an email. Hey, there's this grant available for traffic. So we'll get with traffic and be like, hey, do we have a project that can match this grant program? Same thing with other departments, with community development, traffic, utilities, any department. We'll forward them the grant. Not the grant, the notice of funding, and we'll get together with them and find out if there's a specific project that they have on the pipeline, so we can apply for that program. But on grants, I think that's it.
If you see a good, perdón, adelante.
Do you know how much is the recreational trail grant for Santa Fe?
For
What's the
Santa
amount?
Fe, it was about 375,000.
Okay.
It was a 75% match with the city, or the city would put 25%, and then they would give us 75% of.
Santa Fe is on District 3? Or
Santa Fe is District 2.
District 2, okay.
Three.
So what we're looking for is a control tower at World Trade Bridge. With all the security and all the x-rays that they're doing, it's gonna be more secure so that we can remove the exit gates. But they need to control it from the tower, the movement, and so that will eliminate the exit gates and the thing will flow a little bit better and not parking in the import lot. And so if you see anything like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. I mean, for grants, from what I know, we can't really do anything with or on land that's
Federal-
with
on
the federal
federal land.
government. But we
Yeah,
can
the
definitely look
partnership.
into that when we apply for the bridge expansion project. See if we can add that component into our application.
I thought it was like a partnership, that PP, whatever, no?
I wouldn't,
What's it called?
I will need to
Private-public
inquire.
partnership.
Yeah,
PPP.
that they've
Oh, the
done
PPP.
with the fast lanes and all that stuff.
So federal grants sometimes come with, the NOFOs come with a lot of restrictions. A lot of times even if there's, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but we'll inquire about
Yes.
it. But if there's federal land, even though there's a PPP, the grants may not allow us to build or
Who would
acquire
manage?
equipment on, but we'll look into it.
Who would manage
And the next question, how many grant writers do we have in the city? The one
Yours-
and only, okay,
One.
this is where we need to invest, not in the fire department, we need to invest in grant writers.
Now, other departments,
Have their own
departments like
grant writers.
community development and
Police and
other
fire,
departments
yeah.
through, they do have grant writers for their particular.
Different departments have grant writers?
Some of them, not all of them.
So how
Health
many
department, they have,
One.
their own,
came up,
I think only fire, health,
Fire,
and
health.
police have their own
grant writers?
grant writers
So
for
we have
their
like four
department.
total? Because we need more because they just focus on that.
But a tower would be manned by customs or
Yeah,
by
my customs, yeah.
So it would be to partner with them to try to find money.
and I believe
Next item.
that pretty much concludes the brief report. This doesn't include obviously our day-to-day operations and visits and travel and expos and engagements that we have throughout the month.
That's it.
Very good. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your,
Thank you for your
thank you for your
presentation.
report.
Yeah,
Very
pretty info-
informative.
Yes, and I would like to pass it on to Mr. Ceballos.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dominguez, so I have a lot of slides. I don't wanna, I think there's a lot of things that you probably already know, so I wanna just give you a general update and maybe focus on a few things that I shouldn't assume you know, but this is, and I'll start off with the area for the TERS, which is on this map. It's essentially from San Dario to the college with a few carve-outs you can see there. This predates me and my service on the TERS, but essentially the TERS was formed. You can go to the next slide.
Yes, sir.
This is our work area. Go to the next slide because I want to get to the date. So it was formed in 2016 and it got approved in 2017 by council. Essentially, it was a way to help beautify, capture the increment and help beautify downtown. It took a while for the TERS to actually develop enough funding to start making a dent. So a strategy was decided upon early on before I joined the TERS to accumulate some money and then try to bond a little bit. And that's actually the money that's being used for the projects that are being carried out now. So there is a document which is called a project financing plan. A project plan and financing plan basically spells out what I've summarized here. It's street improvements, basically streetscapes, minimal underground. You can't really do much underground. We're gonna be focusing on those 4 components: street improvement, sidewalks, some monuments, some wayfinding, and some murals. I think that's where we're focusing on. You go to the next slide. So it took a while, actually 4 years before the TERS started thinking about projects and formulating projects. It's not a lot of money, as you all know. When the first 800,000 or so were leveraged under a bond, it raised about 2.5, netted about 2.3. And those are the projects that are carrying out roughly, and you can look at the COVID impact after COVID, a huge decrease. I really don't know what happened in 2022, and I think everybody here understands the capture is really the increment from the tax baseline. So this is, if there's development that occurs, which it's very minimal by show of these numbers. We're still in a very distressed condition in downtown. Some areas, some successes. Julian's been part of the successes with the bar scene and that effort. That took years for it to be what it is now. A lot of work from a lot of people. So if you roll on. So the phase 1, we're calling the phase 1 project. I'm going to show this slide and I'm going to ask you to go back to that map we skipped through because I'm going to show them the area. So the first phase is Zaragoza Street, and essentially there's about 9 blocks that are going to be improved. And again, sidewalks, trees, and lighting. On Zaragoza Street, it actually is only one side of the street that's the most expensive block because there's grade separation, grade elevation issues with different stores at different levels. It wasn't really walkable. So Zaragoza will see some improvements from Flores to Salinas. And then eventually there's another project coming which will be Salinas, some improvements there which I'm going to talk about. There's an Iturbide Monument project that just got awarded. It's currently under review to get to shop drawings. So you will see that monument actually go up hopefully by January, February of next year. There's a wayfinding directional signage that we did in partnership with the Convention and Visitors Bureau. They gave us about $80,000. I say us, but they gave the project about $80,000, and then the TERS put in another $50,000 or so in the wayfinding. So and we'll see some of the conceptual drawings here in a second. We're investing about $50,000 on behalf of this project for murals. We did put out, through the help of the economic development team, put out that publicly as a solicitation. We awarded 5 artists, if I remember correctly. It's been very difficult to get the property owners to commit to the 5-year requirement for it to be actually, it's from the artist and for the property owner. The art needs to be solid and maintained for a period of 5 years. We have, out of those 5, there's one that looks like it's going to materialize. It has since been reissued to expand the area because the area was Zaragoza and then turning on San Agustin. It was kept limited because we thought we would get a lot of interest, and we did get interest, but there was some problems with getting the property owner. The properties that wanted to participate could not commit to the artwork remaining there for a period of 5 years, either because the property's being sold, are because there's changes happening at that property. So it became a little difficult. It's not a lot of money, but it's definitely a little bit of money for that mural.
Are they local artists?
Yes, they're local artists. We had one that's no longer local that decided she doesn't want to continue. So Ms. Castillo brought up this topic to the board a week ago or so. We had our board meeting to allow for public properties that are in the downtown area to host these murals. So although we've been recruiting private ownership for close to 6 months, the board said that was fine, but we want to kind of, because it became more public through Facebook, posting on Facebook captured some attention, which was good. So we extended the private participation through at least the end of the year, with the same artists that we have on the table, right? So we want to give them the opportunity to put their art, it's not their fault that they couldn't land a property site.
So the one that you do have right now, where is it located? Public?
It's private.
Private?
It's on San Agustin.
San Agustin and Iturbide. Yeah. Phase 2, so TxDOT and the MPO have a project called Transportation Alternative Program. And we tapped into that. We saw it at Fresh Money. It's not really a grant, it's a reimbursement program. So we applied for that and we got it, $1 million, and we're matching. When I use the word we, it's really the city and the church. It's public money. 250,000 roughly. We get a discount for being a distressed county, so it'll be less than that. That will be on Salinas, from Zaragoza to Iturbide. And again, the same thing, basically where we don't have a sidewalk, we're bumping out to be able to create a walkable sidewalk space. We don't have as many utility issues on that project. The utility costs are exorbitant. All the funding we have couldn't even cover, if we start relocating, going underground with poles, forget about the 2 million. We got a price on, just on Zaragoza Street, the block between Convent and Salinas was about $1.5 million, just to get us to that street, and the connector for that power source is like still 1.5 blocks away. So well, that's not something we, at least at this point, at the church or the city, we're going to entertain. If you go to the next slide. So one other thing, I kept this slide on because we only have the city currently participating. The county has since voted on participating on contributing to the TERS. So they took action. Now it's about going back to them with an agreement, committing on the term for their board members or their appointees. They asked us for 3 board members to be added to the TERS. I'm supportive of that. We've got to convert now with city council and get them to bless it so we can go back to formalize an agreement. To me, that's a big win, because when we start truly redeveloping downtown, as long as it takes, these numbers are going to mount up, and then we can really start making more progress. Arnold, if you can go back to the second slide with the project area. Here, so, yeah, that one, the next one.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to show you this just to point out where our initial project zone is. So it's this area here. This is the outlet shops, Salinas, and it comes, so our project area is these 2 blocks. This only gets a little bit of a facelift, that walking space between where the tack room is to the CBP pedestrian walkway. That gets a little bit of a facelift, not a lot of funding for that. And then the Tangelo Parkway, walkway, and then Iturbide to Convent. These 2 blocks get both sides, because we're trying to align the sidewalks on both sides there. And then this just gets repairs.
So Zaragoza and Grant don't get all the way to the bridge?
Zaragoza, no. So it's just these 2 blocks.
3 blocks.
I'm sorry, it's 1 and 2. on
Convent
Zaragoza.
is the blue one. Convent is the blue one.
Yeah, Convent is the blue one. So the intersection got redone. I'm gonna show you some pictures. And so when I say that, those are the improvements. This side of Zaragoza didn't do it, we didn't get into any improvements. But anyway, the whole focus was to try to $2.5 million, you know, and so it's not a lot of money. And I'll show you if you can roll to where we left off. I'm gonna go a little faster because I think I've given you enough background on where we've been and just show you the projects. These are the members, I think, you know.
Mr. Ceballos,
Yeah.
we have a question by Julian.
Julian?
Mr. Sparrows, I just had a quick question. So on that map, it was showing the zones. Up to what zone is currently funded? Zone 1,
We
PDA grant.
we currently have funding for the entire phase one. And I'm gonna speak about a request we made to the city council recently, which they added about $1.5 million. So the improvements that we're making here, utility improvements, about 110,000. Infrastructure street improvements, about 700,000. Way over and above well, our engineer told us that's what he's pretty much on the mark. We were hoping that it'd be less, right? It will be less, it should be less on Iturbide per block, because we don't have the same issues that we have on Zaragoza. So currently, Julian, 2.3, if you remember, was the number we were working with, 2.3, 2.5. The city added another 1.3 net based on this last, our last request to city council, 2024 bond, not a TERS bond, city bond. And so that makes what I talked about whole, the Tangelo Parkway, the Iturbide Strip, and the Zaragoza. Probably with a little bit of money left over. The Salinas is a separate project. Let me see where Salinas is. Salinas. So this area, this is a separate project, and because we don't see a lot of utility issues, that will be probably that 1.2 million. That's separate. That's a reimbursement grant. Timing will be important. Will be different because we need to keep some cash to cash flow Salinas. So the timing probably of the Tangelo Parkway will be affected by how we cash flow Salinas. And we're still finalizing the agreement with the city on how we're gonna do that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I think we can go to, just a conceptual, there's some, okay, so these are, I wanted to show, like, this is what's expensive. Where you're gonna create walkability, right? So we ended up creating a walkable space so people can go in the store, and then another walkable space. We basically took 5 feet from the traffic area. Those are just conceptual, keep going. I just show them conceptual to Tangelo Parkway. This block gets just repairs. Most of that is already done. You can keep going. Keep going. This is the monument sign. So we're currently, when I say we're in shop drawings, we're trying to make sure that the way it's designed is steel with a concrete base. That this is supposed to be a scroller that changes with events, when events being posted, making sure that's the right size. And that's currently, it's been awarded, it's currently in review with the team out of Dallas. Keep going. This is actually, was supposed to be part of the phase one. Zaragoza had already got it awarded. It's not gonna be done with phase one, as we have, the county owns this property. We still don't have an agreement with the county to build that, so. And we have this one built, you all have seen it, so we're just mimicking that as part of it, the Antigua plan. This is the wayfinding that's already been, it's kind of a project, honestly, that's late. And it's currently in contracting. Hopefully that gets, it's been awarded, it's been basically designed. It's just formulating a contract that's been taking us longer than it should, but that's where we are. I already spoke about the mural, you can go past that. These are just some, we've been applying with RISC for grants to increase the number of trees, and to create to bring down the temperature downtown so it's a little more walkable. So these are just conceptual things that we've come up with, bump outs to create space for trees. This was the request we gave the city. Really, we asked them to give us $2,000 a year for 10 years. They came back and ultimately approved 1.5 for this year, and then we'll see what happens from there. It's you know, I'm grateful because it's the first time that something outside of what downtown is picking up on the increment is being added by the city in terms of this kind of work, right? They're doing other things, but in terms of street improvements, this is, we're happy to have it.
Julian?
Mr. Zavalos, is it true that the county is going to participate with the TERS?
Yes. So that's the plan. They've already voted on it. They haven't voted on the agreement yet because we've got to roll through the city process to get the city to approve membership. Really, membership is going to be a statute provides any added taxing body 1 member. They're requesting 3. So there's going to have to be another way through ordinance that we can add 2 more members. And but they've already pretty much by county action already have accepted membership or adding the membership. It's really getting to an agreement, which I was.
That's big. Congratulations.
Yeah. So we just need to get it over the finish line. Okay. Keep going.
Devil's in the detail.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, this year we updated the basis for us going to the city council to ask for more funding. We updated the projections, which we've fallen short in the past. I think we're still gonna fall short. If you look at our increment, and this is just the city of Laredo, we're not hitting those numbers. I just showed you those. We're in the 200s. So if we start really redeveloping, then the numbers mount up. But you know, wish us luck. Keep it going. Okay, so these are on my last few slides. There's a bunch of these. So this is all new. Everything was through designing and a lot of design work. Fire department involvement. You can see how the curves.
I was just telling Miriam that there should be a tunnel to cross that street. I mean, that's where all the cars are coming from. You see people crossing, they don't care about the lights, they just.
Yeah. Just the entrance to the tunnel would be the $2 million that we keep it going. You can just scroll through the
And that
pictures.
has to be the smallest exit from an international bridge in the whole world.
So, this is just patchwork really here and trees that are being added. This is that you can see the hotel on the other side. That's the end of the project. This is, I mentioned it because it's one of my peeves, not weaving this, but it got clarified, instead of weaving the brick, got clarified that was pre-existing, it wasn't our team. So they, because I wanted it weaved as kind of a compulsion. These are photos from just a couple of days ago. So you can see
Salinas?
that is Zaragoza. Zaragoza by Salinas. So you can see that's the expensive part, is you want to keep this walkable for people going in the store, but you also want pedestrians to be able to walk. So it's almost like you're doing twice the work.
So you reduce the street?
We reduced roughly by about 5 feet.
So where are the taxis parking now? On Zaragoza?
There's still space for a travel lane and taxis.
Okay.
Now, the conversation for the future is if we want to do walkable space on the south side where taxis is, we're going to have to face that. But at least with this project, we're not dealing with that issue right now. We are redoing that corner. Can you just go back real quick and show them that?
Yeah, I know. I see that corner is being redone
Yeah,
every day.
so we are fixing the turn. I think it's that first photo. Yeah, so the taxis are actually right here. So we are fixing that, but we're not going beyond where they would be parking. Any questions? So in total, I think Julian's question is we started with after we bonded about 2.5, and we're adding another 1.3 net. So that's our total operating budget for what we have going. We had a problem getting contractors to bid. We lost a lot of time because we put it out, no one responded. Then we put it out in just Zaragoza and we got 1 bidder. So and that's the other part why it's also very expensive. And it's also because you don't know what you're gonna find, right? So we got very lucky, no surprises on utilities or relocation. we got real lucky on Zaragoza, but with downtown, I think some contractors that are busy, they're not gonna come, you know, it's been proven, they're not chasing this work. So what's next will be, according to our last few meetings, is Iturbide, and then the Tangelo Parkway will be the last part of this phase. And somewhere in there, we're gonna have to kick off Salinas improvements.
Can I ask a question or maybe a suggestion? There's a bike lane that's real successful on Convent, and especially in the mornings, you see a lot of people going north, but there's not a way of coming back for them. So I see some of them lost. They're even on Convent coming the wrong way, or just improvising. Is there plans in the future to have a south running lane, south running bike lane?
It hasn't been brought up, but I'll share, it's the first time I'll talk about it. But I work for Fasken, which owns the hotel, the
Okay.
Local Hotel, and we're currently conducting a traffic study to figure out the flows in and around the plaza.
Okay.
And then, because I think what's happened with Salinas is the way to the bridge. It used to be, you know, and with them turning it into the garage, maybe it makes a lot of sense to do that. But if you look at traffic, if that's your shortest point to the bridge, so we're gonna, on the private side, we're gonna analyze that, and I'll make sure.
Maybe
that
on
we
the
look-
on Tatangelo, or have a bike lane, since it's gonna be a walkway or something.
Yes.
On one side, or moving it, I don't know, something, because I always see those guys coming back the wrong way on Convent,
Or working it on Salinas,
Yeah.
dedicating it on Salinas, but letting them go in, because right now they can't go into the bridge site. It's
Exactly.
closed. So I think activating Salinas to go onto the bridge and the toll fair.
What's the street that's parallel to Convent on the west side?
Salinas.
Salinas, okay, yeah, Salinas.
Yeah, Salinas, because we walked it with TxDOT and some of the city leaders here. You should see the students that walk going back home every day.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
There's not enough sidewalk. It's a small
And there's no
place.
sidewalks, and then you think about it, you build a sidewalk and it's
There's no
not
road.
shaded.
Yeah, there's no
So
road.
they go
They
to
still
where
go.
they, yes,
They still
so
go
we have to
closer.
build a walkway where it's shaded,
Shaded.
because otherwise, I mean, and so we got to see it, and we were walking at about 4, close to 5. A lot of students, that's the shortest way to get
Nice.
into the toll collector. Any questions or comments?
Thank you, Mr. Zelaya, for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
You coming all the way down. Next meeting? January, February?
There's one for December
January, I will
12th.
send the committee,
Okay, dates.
the dates, yes, we're going to.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second,
All right.
vámonos.
Baldazo y yo. Mr. Gonzalez.
Mr. Bustamante.
They don't do it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.